What's good, y'all? I wanted to make another video because I just saw something interesting on Facebook. It was talking about a gun law that they are trying to pass. Uh, get my phone out real quick. Saw this on Facebook. It's called HR 5717. The summary of it, they were talking about some of the things. Let's see. Generally requires individuals to obtain a license to purchase, acquire, possess a firearm or ammunition. Makes sense. I thought that was already a thing. Raised the minimum age from 18 to 21 to purchase firearms and ammunition. Establishes new background check requirements for firearm transfers between private parties. So now I guess they're going to want people to do a background check when you sell to someone else, if you're not a store. Let's see. The stores already had to do it. Creates a statutory process for a family or household member to petition a court for an extreme risk protection order to remove firearms from an individual who possess a risk of committing violence. I guess I could see how that could be something that probably does need to be done, but then, like, what do you consider an extreme risk? Like, I feel like sometimes they give too much of a gray area with things, and that might be one of them things that ends up being like that. One I found interesting restricts the sale, import, manufacture, transfer, or possession of semi-automatic assault weapons and large capacity ammunition feeding devices. All right. One thing I would say about this is when you look at the Second Amendment, let me see. I'll bring it up and quote it word for word. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So, I know a lot of people have been fighting about what that really means. And that's the right for us to defend ourselves in case the government becomes tyrannic. If the government needs to be overthrown because it's infringing on the people's rights. And I would say, like, for something like that to pass, I feel like the whole world needs to be on that same level. Like, the police, the military, all of us, like, we should all be able to have the same types of weapons. Like, if the government did, just became tyrannic and just pretty much threw out the entire Constitution and what everything, like, means and how it defends us, how do we defend ourselves against that? It's like, all right, we got a bunch of semi-automatic pistols now, but they have fully automatic weapons, large calibers, large magazines, all this and that. Then that doesn't feel so safe, does it? But if they wanted to step down what we were able to possess, I feel like they should as well. But then you like, oh well, what if, like, we need to go to war? What about what the military has? Regulated for the whole world. I don't know. That's just something I look at and think of, and, like, I feel like the whole world should be on the same page when it comes to stuff like that. Like if you look at it this way, it makes sense. But if you look at it this way, it makes sense as well. It's one of those things. I don't know. I feel like people have been running, not necessarily running, but just giving away power. Man, you look at, like, and I'm not here to try to bash the government or nothing, but folks give up freedoms and rights all the time. And when you do that, you give up power, but it's to feel secure. It's like, I see something happen now. A lot of people talk about, like, martial law going on with the COVID-19 crisis. And, oh, man, we're on lockdown. We can't leave the states. We can't leave the borders and all this and that. It's the fact that in the first place, you gave up so much of your own power that they now have the power to tell you that because you wanted that sense of security from them. But then one day, you turn around and say, oh, well, we can't trust the state. We can't trust our governing bodies. You already done gave up the power. I don't know. I feel like, the problem is a lot of people don't want to be responsible for themselves. Just want to give away power and then complain about it when you don't have it. people are like not paying attention to anything. A lot of folks don't vote. A lot of people don't pay attention to what the politicians are doing. A lot of people don't bother to watch, read the news, read the articles, look the stuff up online, like be a part of their country. Like when we talk about making the country great again, by the way, this is not a MAGA hat. Anything goes. Talk about making America great again. Uh, just to make it great, period. People need to do their part as a citizen of this country, and take part in their responsibilities. You're responsible to look up the politicians, see who's running, who has the power in your area where you live. You're acting members of the government, whoever you get to vote for. When the election comes, the primaries, all of it. Like you gotta be looking at stuff. I try to preach this to my friends so much, and I hope that it hits home with these guys. Like we listen all our life how like our voices don't matter, our voices don't count. When everybody feels that way, yes, then it doesn't, because then everyone is letting things happen now. You're just gonna coast. But when we all work together, we can get things done. Like folks complain all the time about like how they disagree with the president, or they disagree with our governor, or whatever's going on. But nobody took the time to, well, I'm not going to say nobody, but a lot of people who complain don't take the time to go and vote or register to vote, or look up who's running for what. Like, if you would have thought about the problem or potential problems before they happened, you would have took a lot of this stuff seriously, and then you wouldn't have to have that conversation. And I'm not blaming anything on Trump. Like, that's what's going on with all that. Like, everything going on around the world and what he's doing about the crisis and all that. I'm not even getting into that. Like, this is just an example. Even like when Obama was president, a lot of people didn't agree with him and the things he did. But so many of the people I heard complaining never voted. I've literally listened to people tell me they didn't vote in the last election and want to have an opinion about our president now and the candidates who didn't make it. Like, where was your voice when you had a chance to speak? I don't know, man. I just feel like folks been talking about the woke movement and stuff, but who's really woke? Like, who's really awake? Who's actually out here, taking part? If you don't like the way that the laws are and stuff like that, read them, pay attention to them, see who's voting for what, and then you decide how you need to deal with that from that point, what you have the power over. If you don't like how the stuff is going on in your area, become a lawyer, become a policeman, become a judge, all of that stuff. Like, take part in your community. Don't just complain about it when it goes to crap. All of this little slick stuff going on, pay attention. Check up on it. All this stuff happens all the time. Folks just ain't paying attention to nothing. That's why the government gets to pass a lot of the stuff they want. Who's taking the time to look at it? Just let them do what they do. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that, man. And this ain't like I said, this ain't nothing about bashing the government. This ain't nothing about, what is just necessarily right or wrong. There's a lot of gray area in that. But if you have an opinion about what's going on out here, use your voice. And by using your voice, I mean become active. Overall, y'all have a great night. God bless y'all.